Hello everyone, good evening from my side. It's me, Syed Ali Shah, the supervisor of Ask Foundation and host of today's session. Yet first, I welcome all of you on behalf of Ask Foundation. Ask Foundation is a platform which is working on the enhancement of the skills of youth to make them able to cope with the challenges and to move forward. Ask Foundation conducts different workshops, courses, and webinars in which youth from the different countries participates and learn. We have a network of members all across the globe. Today, our session is about how to be successful in your professional and personal life with 3A's model. Our honorable guest Mr. Asjad Malik, are with us for today's session. Asjad Sheikh is the CEO of Right VN Teacher Training Academy, UK, and the New Era Learning Pakistan. In August 2020, he was given World Greatness Award in the UK for the work he and his team has been doing in Pakistan and Azad Kashmir. He is a highly skilled and competent corporate and teacher trainer with over 25 years of experience in training and leadership role. The CPD Group UK has accredited Right VN Teacher Training Academy courses and is also given the status of the accredited training provider. The CPD Group has allocated every course with its unique course identification number. So let's begin our today's session. First of all, Sir Asjad, we welcome you at the platform of Ask Foundation. Now you can introduce yourself to our audience and then can start your session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Rath, and good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are. So it's very good to see around 92 people here. So bravo. Give yourself a pat on your back that you guys have made it. 92 people are here. So today we're going to talk about how can we be more successful in our professional and personal life. This is the question which bother everyone. How can we do that? So, and for that, I'm going to start my presentation. I will ask everyone if you have any questions. So please leave it at the end of the session so we can answer your question. So let's start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are starting our journey today with ASK Foundation and the Right Vision Academy. Well, you've been told about how what the Right Vision Academy is all about. So we are starting our first session with ASK Foundation today. I have something for you. So, how to be successful in your personal and professional life? That is the main question. I have few questions for you. What do you think? Why are we not happy in our jobs? Is it the time? Is it the money? Or is it organizational policies? Why do we all have less productivity? What are we doing wrong as an employer or employees? So these are the three questions. What do you think? Please tell me why. What are the answers to these questions? What do you think? Is it the money? Is it the time? Or is it the political organization policies? Gee, please feel free to talk.
Sir, it can be the lack of resources, lack of faculty.
Okay, that's fine. What else?
Lack of education.
Okay. These are the three questions. These are the three answers: time, money, or organization politics. What you believe?
I think it depends upon the organization and politics as well, because an employee, if he witnesses that he is not getting acknowledged as the other people are, and it is based upon, and the acknowledgement is basically based upon the favoritism, so it happens you just lose your motivation in all of the things.
Okay, thank you. Gee, Shahana, what you believe? What you think?
Assalamu alaikum. As per my experience, it is organization politics,
Okay.
where only the ones who support the management are welcomed, and the ones who go for some cause, as it is a challenging task, they are pushed back.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Dr. Sarah Junaid.
Assalamualaikum. It might be due to the lack of sincerity towards the work.
Okay. Thank you very much. G. Idrisa. Fail. Anyone else want to give a response to these three questions? What
it may be organizational atmosphere, work atmosphere.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, I think so. It all are interconnected. If you're talking about like money, it's also connected with time, and it's also connected with organizational politics, in my point of view. So in my point of view, it's also connected to each other.
Okay, thank you. Gee, who you start?
Well, I think the organization policy and money remuneration matters.
Okay, thank you. So now we have plenty of feedback from the audience. Some thought they are the politics, some thought there's and something and something there's multiple. There might be a time, it might be please mute your mic, please mute your mic. So they believe that the one of these elements. So let's see. People who said it's a time and people who said it's a money and organizational policy, I'm afraid you all are wrong. These does not interfere in your job. These are there because we are not managing ourselves properly. These elements reduce our productivity. So to answer to all these three questions is, these are not the main element who's gonna why you are not happy with your job, why you are less productive, or what's employers do. The answer to these three questions, before I come to these questions, what is a cycle? That's what we need to understand. Once we understand the cycle, then we will know what is the reason behind this. What cycle is the series of events that are regularly repeated. If we look at the weather, the first thing is spring. Then the second is summer. Third is autumn. Fourth is winter. And they don't stop. Every year we get to face one of these seasons until we are alive. If we are not alive, then the cycle is finished. So if we understand, cycle never finishes. It keeps repeating. And that's what it is with the human cycle. This is a human cycle. One place in a world, somewhere in a world, a child is taking a birth. Child is born. And somewhere in the same world, someone has left the world. So this cycle never ends until or unless the day of judgment. We are repeating this cycle. And once, what happened in the morning when you wake up? What you do? Once you wake up, you start your new cycle. First thing which we do is we go to washroom, freshen up. And once we have done our morning rituals, then we come back. We have our breakfast. So up till then, before we start our breakfast, we started a new cycle of morning rituals. And it ended when we start our breakfast. So when we started to have our breakfast, we started a new cycle of having a breakfast. When we finish our breakfast, that cycle completed. Then we go to work and we start our new cycle at work. And when we come home, that's when your cycle ends at the work. So in a day, we start hundreds of cycles. And those cycles which we start will determine how pleased we are, how motivated we are, and how our productivity is. These are the cycles. If you are happy, if you are excited to going to your work, then you have a good. If you are not, then it's going to affect your productivity. So that leads to our new model, which is 3A. And this model is also a cycle. It starts with atmosphere. It starts with atmosphere, then it goes to attitude, and then it goes
to
the action. So what is the atmosphere? Anyone? What is the atmosphere? G. Rista, what is the atmosphere?
The environment.
Okay, thank you.
The environment.
Thank you very much. Idrissa, what is the atmosphere?
The surroundings.
Okay.
The surroundings of our environment.
Thank you.
Workplace.
Surrounding where we live is called environment.
Okay, thank you very much. See, whatever we do in our life, Shahina, what is atmosphere?
Atmosphere is visible and invisible surrounding around us, and it can be felt, and sometimes it can be seen.
Thank you. So let's look at the atmosphere. Positive values. Whatever we do, we have to make that atmosphere. In order to understand this atmosphere, let's talk about, you want to make a cup of tea. Where would you go in the kitchen to make a cup of tea? You want to cook, where would you go? You will go in the kitchen to make a cup, make your breakfast or your lunch or dinner. You will not make your lunch in your in your living room or in your bedroom, because to make your tea or breakfast or lunch or dinner, you have that atmosphere in your kitchen. You have all the tools to make your tea or your dinner. Because of those, you are making your tea or dinner, whatever you want to do. So we need that atmosphere. And how that atmosphere is gonna affect us, if we don't have an atmosphere, we cannot do anything. You go to work because that atmosphere is created at your workplace. Even if you want to work from home, you need to have an office at home, because you cannot work in your pajamas, can you? You have to look professional. And all these little things creates that atmosphere where you work. So first thing what we need in our atmosphere is a positive mission statement. Okay. Every company have their mission statement, which outlines their goals and demonstrate the behavior of that company, whatever they do. Most of you guys are in your in a medical field. So tell me about one thing. You learn your degree, you got your degree in a medical school or in a engineering school. Obviously, you went to medical school to get your degree because the atmosphere was there. But once you are in a school, it's not just the building that creates the atmosphere. It's the people as well, because they are part of that atmosphere. So once you have that learning atmosphere, then the learning will take place. First of all, that institution have to make that learning atmosphere. And how institutions gonna make that learning atmosphere? It's with their policies. Once those policies are generated, are created, then their mission and then their policies get transferred to those teachers who are there, because they are carrying companies or institutions mission statements. And then they take that atmosphere, learning atmosphere, in their classes, where you guys are there, sitting there. So if teacher is not prepared, if teacher doesn't know what he or she is going to transfer knowledge to you guys, will you learn? No, we cannot learn, because please, when you join, please mute your mic. So when you are in a classroom, first we need that atmosphere in a learning institution, and then we need a learning atmosphere in our classroom. And who is responsible for that? Teacher is responsible for creating that learning environment in your classroom. Once you have that learning atmosphere, then learning will take place, because student knows, student understands that here in this place we're going to learn. So what happened in a classroom? In a classroom, there are furniture, there are tools, learning tools there, which provide that. So that brings to another question: why children don't learn in a house? Because parents complain, my children is not studying at home, because they fail to create that learning atmosphere in their home. Unless we have this learning environment, positive learning environment in our home, in our learning institution, or at the working or the places where we work, we cannot move forward. Commitment to excellence. What does this mean? How we can commit to excellence? Do we have any role model in front of us who can say, okay, this is the standard, that's what we're gonna achieve. This is the standard that we're gonna achieve. So that is the standard of excellence. But when we go in a workplace, what happens? We get little training. Employer give us few months training, right? And after that, that's it. Then we get into politics, organizational politics, that ruin that atmosphere. We talk about money. You can buy stuff from money. You can buy a medicine from money, but you will not get a health. Money is not the answer to every question. Yes, we all need money. But what is happening? We are running after the money. We are keep running after the money, and one day our life cycle will end up and we will go in our graves. What have you achieved? Did you got the money? No, because you were always one step behind the money. Change the cycle. Let money come behind you. So wherever you go, money is coming behind you. So change that cycle. Right now, what we are doing, we are running behind the money. And that's what happens. Once we have money in front of us, we spoil that atmosphere. It is employer's responsibility to give you that standard and provide you with all that training, with all those tools that you're gonna give your customer excellent customer service. Let me tell you one thing. I had a problem. I'm in the UK. For one for 1 week, almost every day I was going to A&E because I was having a chest pain and pain in my shoulder. Every day I was going to emergency, and these doctors was looking at me. They were taking my history, and they were asking me to go home. So one night I was in A&E for up to around 3 o'clock in the morning, and they asked me to, okay, you are fine, just go home. I came back, and 9 o'clock, around 10 o'clock in the morning, they asked me to come back to the hospital. And you know what? When they asked me to come back to the hospital, I said, that's it. I think I had a heart attack. So when I went to the hospital, and doctor was the same doctor who treated me at night, he looked at me and said, oh, Mr. Sheikh, it's you. I said, yeah, okay, give me the result. They told me that my enzyme was very highly elevated and I already had a heart attack. Now, this doctor, did he provide me an excellent customer service? Answer to this is no, he didn't. Because how come he asked me to go home without having my blood result? He shouldn't. I would have died. Who would
Excuse me, sir.
Who would be the responsible to that?
Excuse me, sir.
Ji.
Sir, can you please exceed the limit of participants, as the participants have reached 100 and now the more cannot join?
I can make you a host. And if you can do that for me, please.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Can you grant me permission to record, sir, please?
Okay, that's done.
Hello, sir. Can you grant me permission to record, sir?
I'm sorry?
Can you grant me permission to record?
It is recorded.
Yeah, I want to record.
Yeah, it is recording. You can have a session after the session. You can get the recording. No problem.
Okay. You are going to share it through WhatsApp group, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right. So, other thing which affect our atmosphere is open and honest communication. Think about your yesterday or Friday. When was you last at your work? Did you have an open and honest communication with your colleagues or with your bosses? That also affect, because when we are communicating, we are not communicating properly. We are only listening what we want to listen. We don't pay attention to the words. How many years we have? We have 2 years and 1 month, which means listen more and talk less. So we don't have an open communication. Once we have an open and effective communication, you guys can resolve all the challenges and problems which you are facing in your workplace and in your house as well, in your personal lives as well. When we are talking about this atmosphere, we are talking about atmosphere in your personal life and in your workplaces as well. So that's how. Now look at it. Are we having an open communication with our spouses or our children? We have to think about these things. Are we a role model in our house? Are we a role model parent to our children? Have we provided all the learning tools for our children at home? Because when we are talking about the atmosphere, we are talking about atmosphere at workplace plus in our houses as well. Once these two atmospheres are learning and loving atmosphere, then we can move forward. If we don't have a learning atmosphere, then we cannot move forward. Other thing which we need to create an atmosphere is respect. What is respect? That's the question. We know the word respect, but we don't know the meaning of respect. Are we honest? Are we honest with ourselves? If we are not honest with ourselves, we are not giving respect to ourselves. How can somebody who is not respecting themselves, he or she is going to respect me? That's the question to answer. If I'm not respectful to myself, how am I going to be respectful to you? No, I cannot be. So respect, you have to demonstrate you are respecting first yourself, then people around you. So that also, this is also one of the main elements to create that loving atmosphere at your workplace and at your houses. Flexibility. We are not flexible. We just want things now, now, now. We are not flexible. Unless we are flexible, we cannot move forward. I'll give you an example. You see this pen? If I put a pressure in the middle, I can break this pen very easily because there is no flexibility in this pen. If there was a flexible, both ends will meet at the end. So we have to come up with the flexibility, because flexibility, once you are flexible, you will listen to other person's argument. We become judgmental. We are not qualified to pass any judgment. We cannot pass any judgment. We are not qualified. We must show our flexibility. Unless we are flexible, we cannot create this atmosphere.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
It leads to second element, which is the attitude. What is the attitude? How can you change your attitude? Attitudes is all about reflecting your past. Once we start to reflect on our past, we will know what mistakes we have done. And people will only people who reflect upon their past and identify their mistakes and they learn from it, they will change their present and they will change their future. Past is a very painful thing. When you go in your past, you will come up with lots of failures. You will come up with lot of challenges because past is full of those things. And once you go in your past, you must learn from those things. And then you come back in your present and change what have in the past, the mistakes you made, you learn from it and you change yourself. Once you start to bring in change, then your positive attitude will develop. And once you realize that you have changed yourself, what's going to happen? It will affect your future. And what is hidden in your future? The things which are hidden in your future is your promotion. Things which are hidden in your future, in your house, future is happiness, your children. Those little achievement of your children. Once they achieve a good grade in their school, how happy you will feel yourself. So future is always the foundation of happy, good future is your past mistakes and your failures. You learn from them, you change your present, and then your future will develop. And for that, you must have an attitude. Do we have a positive attitude? That's the question. Attitude we will understand what our attitude. Once we understand our attitude, then the difference will start coming. When teacher goes in a classroom and that teacher is not ready, has not prepared themselves, what do you think her or his attitude, that teacher will be able to teach you guys? And what will be the student attitude? Will you learn from that teacher? Go in your past, go in your classrooms and think about how many teachers you have learned from. Maybe 10, 20. Now, go in the past. Think about how many teachers do you remember? Out of 20, there might be a couple of teachers you remember. Because you remember only those teachers who had the perfect positive attitude and you learn from them. You don't remember other teachers because they never taught you anything, because they didn't have a positive teaching attitude. And that's why when we meet, people's friends meet, they always talk about their teachers and they remember only those teachers who taught them. And then all other teachers, we give them a nickname and we don't remember their original name. We remember them by their nicknames. So that's the attitude. Organize your day. Organize your day. We don't organize our day. We lack in our organization. We lack in our time management. You know, the time is money and we are after money. Everyone wants money. We all want money. But the real money is the time, and we are wasting left, right, and center. So once you are wasting your money, how can you get money from your employers? You will never get the money from your employers because you are non-productive. You are not organized. And that's going to affect your positive attitude. If you don't respect time, time will never respect you back. Respect is a two-way thing. You give a respect, you earn a respect. And time is the biggest money. And we are wasting left, right, and center. That's why we are not productive. We waste time. What we do, we procrastinate. Oh, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. And doing nothing, just wasting a time. And that was the money which you wasted. Think about today's or the last day at your work. How much time you wasted? Think about it. And that time which you have wasted is not going to come back. And what you think? Your employer, they are monitoring you. They are monitoring. The employers are like a big brother. They always monitor you. It doesn't matter what you do. They will come and, oh, you did that. I was looking at you. And they are monitoring you. And once they are monitoring, oh, Mr. X wasted 10 minutes. Mr. Y was late today. Mr. Z did nothing today. So it's going to affect your money. Because you wasted the time, you were not organized. Change your morning rituals. Change it. Let's see what happens. Because what we are living our life as a robot. We wake up in the morning, we go to washroom, we come, we have our breakfast, we go to our work, we spend our time, then we come back, we have our dinner, and then we go to sleep. Is that all? That's the life? That's how you live your life? Because we are used to it, and this is why we are in our comfort zone. We don't want to change. We always talk about, oh, I'm very hard worker, I'm very hard worker, I'm very hard worker. Hang on. Do I need a hard worker? No, I don't need a hard worker. I don't want a hard worker. I want a smart worker. There's a difference between a hard worker and there's a difference between smart worker. Smart workers are always organized, they manage their time, and they give the productivity. Hard worker is always working hard, oh boy, and mourning about money, mourning about organization politics. So that's the difference between a hard worker and a smart worker. We don't want a hard worker. We want smart worker. We talk about that we are honest people. Hang on. I'm interviewing you guys and you tell me you are an honest people, but I don't know you. Sorry, mate. I don't know you. How would I know you are a hard, honest person? So if you are not honest with yourself, if you are not respecting yourself, if you are not understanding yourself, how you gonna be honest? You are not respecting time. You are not honest person. You are not respecting your colleagues. You are not an honest person. So all that claim, the statement you made that you are an honest person, sorry, you are not an honest person and I don't need you. I need someone to demonstrate me. Once you start demonstrating, your attitude will elevate. And that's when you will start learning. That's when you will start getting other colleagues. You will get respect from your colleagues. You will get respect from your family. And you will get respect from the society. And at that time, money will start coming behind you. That's what attitude does. Once you have a positive attitude, then you will have money following you. So that takes us to the third and last A, which is action. How many people knows Newton? When I was a kid in a school, I used to think about Newton's third law, where there's an action, there's a opposite have a reaction to it. Whatever you do, you will see. What you see, you will get it. So what are our actions? Once we have a learning atmosphere, once we have a positive attitude, whatever we'll do, we will get the benefits. Simple as it is. It will help you in your life, personal life. It will help you in your organization, at your workplace. Think about it. When you graduated from your medical school, what you guys did, how many hours you spent in learning, studying, how scared were you, and how excited were you to have that degree in your hand, and you were telling the entire world, yes, I did it. And in this sentence, go in your past. How honest were you with yourself? Why you think you got a distinction in one subject and you merely passed in your other subject? Because you had an excellent action learning attitude in that subject in which you got the distinction. And that subject where you merely passed, you were not honest with yourself. You did not give that respect to that subject, and that subject told you, okay, if you are not gonna respect me, that's what you're gonna get it from me. So these are the three atmosphere, A's: atmosphere, attitude, and action. Once you are in action, this cycle is going to repeat itself, and then you will come up with some other new things. And in order, when you come up with that new thing, you have to create an atmosphere. Once you create the atmosphere, then you will go into the second A, which is the attitude. And then will come the third A, which is the action. So this is the model. This is the path to your success in your personal life and in your professional life. Now, that leads to another question. How are we going to implement this in our personal life and in our professional life? So come on, let's look at that. How are we going to implement this thing? So these are the four things. You need to identify. You need to plan and design. You need to deliver, and you need to evaluate. So what are these things? Let's look at it individually. So let's look at the first step. Need identification. Needs associated with that job, or associated with that person, associated with that organization, and associated with that community. If we don't identify these needs, obviously that person who I hire will not be able to perform his job. And once he is not able to perform his job, he will not get that perfect learning atmosphere. So first of all, we need to identify. When we talk about need identify, that when you have to bring this thing at the time of interview. First meeting, you ask the question. Obviously, we ask far too many questions during the interview. We ask a lot of questions. But do we identify the need? No, we don't identify the need. We are asking a lot of questions, but in those questions, we should put in some other question which will give us, tell us about the other person need. If I need, for example, I need, this is one pair of glass, and this is when I use this pair of glass when I'm in front of a computer. I have another pair of glass, this one, and this is when I use when I'm reading, because it's a short-sighted and the long-sighted as well. So I need these glasses. So if you're gonna give me computer, you ask me to work on a computer, and you don't identify this. Oh, hang on, Mr. Sheikh need two pair of glasses, one for his screen. And Mr. XYZ don't need a pair of glasses. Who you gonna offer a job? It's entirely up to you. But we need to identify, and we also need to identify what is my other person learning style. Once you are familiar with the learning style, it's easy to transfer your knowledge to other person. Take it, look into your house, look at your children. Do you know how your children learn? Never mind your children. Do you know how you learn? Do you know what your learning style is? That is the issue. We don't know what our learning style is. And then when we take classes or we go in seminars or we conduct this, what you call webinar or workshops, once we finish that workshop, when we go back home, our mind is gone. We don't know what we learned today because we don't know our learning style. Once we know our learning style, then I will make sure that whenever I'm attending these webinar or sessions or online, I will make sure that I have all my tools so I can learn. Other thing which we need to identify is what was learner or employee previous experience. We ask during the interview, we ask about previous job, but we know that employee, prospective employee, whoever you are interviewing, and if you ask them about their previous experience, they're not gonna blame their previous employer. If they blame their previous employee, will you hire them? They will be blaming you as well. I will not hire that person. So we need to understand what was their previous experience, what role they did, what responsibility they have. We need to identify all these things. Other thing which we need to understand is, let's say, for example, you are a doctor, right? And you go to the hospital and they said, oh, sorry, interview. You go to interview and you are a doctor and they are looking for nurse. Will they hire you? No, they won't hire you because you are overqualified for that post. So we also need to understand what is the requirement for the job we are applying to. So we need to identification is the first step. How you gonna implement in your personal life and in your professional life. So that takes us to the second part of it, which is plan and design. Now, think about you are inviting people in your house for a dinner party. So you're gonna plan the menu. You're gonna plan how many people are coming, what food you're gonna cook, how you're gonna design that table, how you're gonna design the plates. So you need to plan and design. And when we talk about your plan and design, is your morning rituals, how you're gonna reflect this thing in your workplace. Once you are at home, how you gonna reflect this thing with your family, your spouse, your children, your siblings, how you gonna do that? How are we gonna plan it? Are we good at our planning? Have we planned anything in the past? Did you, well, about this seminar, this webinar was planned, and we all did our work. And then we gave you guys, sent you all these invitations. And that's how right now we are having this. So there was a lot of efforts went in back, which you guys didn't know about it. There was a lot of efforts when we were planning and designing this webinar. You just came, you're like a guest. You just came. But the host cooked that food. They spent a lot of time preparing it. They spent a lot of time in planning it. So what planning you did? Did you plan your today's day, how you gonna spend it? Did you guys plan it? So we don't do our planning. Okay, for example, we did our planning. The other question is, what if that plan didn't work? Did you have another plan B? Did you have a plan C? So we don't know what's going to happen in a workplace. It happens almost every day. You said, okay, I'm going to go and work today, but hang on, somebody phone in sick. So all of your plan went down. So did you have a set plan B? Because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know. So we must have our planning. And when we do the planning, and let's say you guys are having a training, like now we have 100 people. So that's the limit. We cannot have more than 100 people in this session. So how big group you want to have in your session when you are giving a training, or when you are in a classroom, or when you are in your home, when you are talking to your siblings. So you need to understand what is your maximum limit. Once we understand what our maximum limit is, then we can do this. Let's say, for example, you can carry a 5 kilogram weight, right? And easily, without any problem. But now you end up with 10 kilo weight. How are you going to carry that weight? And it's important that you carry that weight and you take it to your home. So you're going to plan it. You're going to design something so you don't put stress on your shoulder or in your arm. So we must have some kind of a planning. And when you do the planning, you must have resources. Without resources, you cannot plan. And without plan, you cannot design. And without this, you cannot move forward. So first thing what we did was we need identified. Once we identified all of our needs, then according to those needs, we planned and we designed our structure. And this takes us to the third element, which is deliver. Now you have to deliver. What you guys are doing every day in your organization, you are delivering. Some people are delivering this customer service. They have an interaction, one-to-one interaction with the customers. Some people are sitting on a telephone and they are dealing with customers on a phone. Some people are sending their emails. So everyone is dealing with other person. So we are delivering things. I don't know if you guys are nurses, so you have another type of a delivery mechanism in your hospitals or at your workplace. If you are a doctor, you are delivering something different. And if you are a teacher, you are delivering something different. So we are constantly delivering things every day at our workplace and in our house as well. So let's say, for example, if you are a housemaker, what delivery are you doing in your house? You are delivering, you are making a food, you are looking after house, you are looking after your children, you are making sure house is looking clean. So this is the delivery that you are doing. And if you are not a housemaker, you work and then you come home and do things, then it comes in a collaboration. Your partner must support you. Once at home, both of you are working and one person decide not to support you or help you with house tasks, he is not delivering. He or she is not delivering. They are putting you in a black hole, and you will bear that thing. You will take that pressure, but you will take that pressure for a few days. After that, hang on. Okay, mister, do your job, or that's the job. So once we talk about delivery, we must be honest with ourselves. Again, honest, respect. Are we doing this thing? We are not doing this thing. We are not honest with ourselves. We are not respecting ourselves. How can we do these things with others? No, we cannot do these things. So now we need identified, we plan and design, and now we deliver. And it lead us to the last element of this. That is the evaluation. Do we evaluate ourselves? I don't know. I'm not passing any judgment. Just think about yourself. Did you evaluate it yourself? Did you ask for a feedback? Once you were given a feedback, did you get upset? Was the feedback was honest? Was respectful? Did you give you that? Did that feedback give you something to think about? To do something positive in your life for your future? We always want people to tell us good things. And if somebody tells us something critical, I'm not going to talk to you. Why? Because you highlighted my weaknesses. Well, normally I don't use this word weaknesses because it's very negative. I use the word which is areas of development. I don't use word weakness. Strength and areas of development. Don't use weaknesses, because weaknesses is a negative word. It brings morale down. If I'm going to give a feedback, I will say, oh, you did a very good thing. You are very good. Your strengths are there. However, there are few little areas of development. And when you talk about areas of development, oh, okay, development. We are talking about development, not weaknesses. And what we do, we say weaknesses. And when you heard the word weakness, oh, I'm weak. I cannot do this. Areas of development. Oh, yes, I can develop into a lot of things. You will get a positive energy in yourself when you listen the word development. Development. Not weaknesses, We are not talking about weaknesses now. We are talking about development. And how would it feels you? What is happening today? We are developing you. We are developing you. We are not talking about your weaknesses. We are developing you. And once you are developed, what is the next stage after the develop? Is become a leader. So, in fact, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make 99 leaders in just 1 hour. And how I'm going to achieve this? By developing you. I'm developing you guys. I'm giving you tools. I'm giving you ideas. I'm showing you the path to how to be successful in your professional and personal life. So this was the path, how to be a perfect, how to be a successful in your professional life and in your personal life. So this is the 3A models you need to have: atmosphere, attitude, and action. How you gonna implement this? First, you're gonna need to identify the need. Then you're gonna plan and design. Then you're gonna deliver. And then you're gonna evaluate yourself. How well I did. How well I did. What are my areas of development? And hang on, again, you must be honest with yourself when you are identifying areas of development. If you are honest, you are developing, you are becoming a leader. And if you are not honest with yourself, that's it. Story is finished. So this was our session for today. I hope you learned a few things with it. I'm open for your questions.
Thank you very much, Asjad Saab. It was a very good presentation, and you made a very difficult topic very easy for all of us to understand. And there's no doubt that this CA model is surely a practical model to be followed and a doable thing for people from all ages and from all walks of life, whether they are in their professional life or in their personal life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, if you have any question, raise your hand. I'm all ears.
If anyone have any question, then you can unmute your mic and can ask question from sir.
No question. Wow. Yes. Morali, please. You can ask question. You can unmute and ask the question, please.
Sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. I'm very much glad I learned a lot.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Morali, cannot hear what you are saying. I'm sorry.
Morali, there is distortion in your voice. You can write it in chat box. Next one, please.
All right, let me just write it on a message box.
Now it's clear. If you want to ask, you can ask. Now your voice is clear.
Sir, how can we work in a negative environment?
Sorry, how can we work in negative
environment?
Thank you very much, Salimullah. Is that your question? How can we work in a negative environment? Yes? Thank you very much. Excellent question. Excellent question. How can we work in a negative environment? First, we need to identify what caused that negative environment. And environment is what? Is the atmosphere. Obviously, you cannot work in a negative atmosphere. Once it's the negative atmosphere, it's going Frida. Once it's a negative atmosphere, it's going to affect your attitude and it's going to affect your action. You cannot work in a negative atmosphere. Once you identify something has gone wrong, what you're going to do? You're going to change it. And how you're going to change it? First, identify the needs, plan and design, deliver and evaluate. This is cycle. It's keep coming and you have to keep doing all the time, every day. That's why we said, change your rituals, morning rituals. What I do normally is when I get up in the morning, I don't just get out from the bed. I sit on a bed for a couple of minutes and then I do something. So if you ever find yourself in a negative atmosphere, please try to find out what was the cause of that. Try to get to the root. Don't cut branches. They will grow back. Once you had that root and you have pulled out that tree from the root, you will not have a negative atmosphere at your workplace and or at your in your house, in your personal life. So if you find there is something negative, sit down, proper, honest communication, proper, honest communication, respect for everyone. It's a two-way situation. You give respect, you gain respect. You give respect, you gain respect. Once that trust element is built, then there won't be any negative atmosphere. I hope that answers your question, Slim.
Thank you, sir. Next, Morale, your hand is raised. Do you have any question? Or if anyone have any question, you can quickly ask because we are already exceeding time. You can simply unmute your mic and you can ask.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
Ji, Amar.
Sir, in which situation where people think that your profession is not a good or have a not a good or it's a bad profession, what we should do?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your question.
Sir, in which situation where people or society think that your profession.
So what I got your question is that society think the profession you are in is not a good profession. Is that your question?
Yes, exactly, sir.
Okay. So first, in order to give you answer to your question that your profession it's not a good profession or it's a bad profession, we must have a definition what good is or what bad is. For you, that might be a good profession, and for somebody else, that might be a bad profession. So we don't know where we are coming. We need to identify, we need to come up with the definition what is good and what is bad. And my friend, no profession is a bad profession. Every profession is a respectful profession. We live in a community, and we all have responsibilities. We cannot have a community without teacher. We cannot have a community without sweeper. We cannot have a community without a chef. We cannot have a community without a school or doctors. So everyone have to play their part in a community because we live in a community. So there is no bad profession. All the profession are the good profession, provided are you honest with you? Are you respecting your profession? We don't respect our profession. We are not honest with ourselves. That's why we come up with these excuses. Or your profession is a better profession. No?
Okay.
I hope it answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you, sir.
G. Musa, your question.
Yes, how can you honest with your profession? How can you honest with your profession?
How can you be honest with your profession? Thank you very much, Musa. Good question. Are you honest with your profession? You think you are honest with your profession?
Yeah, sometimes I think that, or not even sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes I think that I'm honest with your profession. Musa, it doesn't work that way. The first element is the respect. If you are not honest with your profession, are you honest with yourself? No, you are not honest with yourself. If you are not honest with yourself, how can you get a respect? You will not get a respect. You signed those dotted lines. You agreed that you're gonna do what you've been asked to do because that's how you are getting paid for it. And if you are not performing your duties, or if you are not respecting your contract, the money which your wages you are getting, is that a good money, good wages, or a bad wages? That will be the question I will be asking. I'm paying you for 8 hours, and I have given you specific tasks to do, and you are procrastinating your time. You are not respecting time. So you're not earning good money. You are not earning a good money. You are dishonest with yourself. You are losing a respect from your colleagues at your workplace, and you're at your work at your home. Does it answer your question, Musa?
Perfectly, sir.
Thank you very much. Kengawai, please, your question. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. I'm really embarrassed with that, but your question, please.
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Kiangwi Isaiah from Kenya. Now, my question is, we have cases where our bosses or our seniors make or give deconstructive or negative criticism. How do you go about these bosses, or the type of bosses who give deconstructive or negative criticism instead of constructive criticism? How do you handle them, sir? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good question. How you handle your boss negative criticism? Tell me, give me a name of one boss who ever given you constructive feedback. Hardly to find any boss who will give you constructive feedback. That's the world we live in. We live in a hypocrisy. This is what we call hypocrisy. It's very difficult because what is happening is this. Remember, we talk about organization politics. We talk about organization politics. This is all the politics. If you know you are doing your job 100%, then your boss will never be able to give you a critical negative feedback. If you know you have done nothing wrong and you followed the book accordingly, then you will never get it wrong. And if you do get it wrong, that's the time to challenge. Challenge your bosses, because they have passed the judgment. Now, once I pass any judgment, for example, I say, oh, Mr. You didn't do a job. You are just a waste of time. So I pass this judgment. The question you will be asking, sir, are you qualified to pass a judgment? I'm not qualified to pass a judgment. What's happening is I'm pointing out a finger at you. You did this. You are not the right person. You are dishonest person, right? I'm pointing one finger at you. These three fingers are pointing at me. I'm a bigger liar than you. Because we don't challenge. We doubt ourselves that, oh, what I did wrong. If you haven't done anything wrong, then why would you get a bad review from your employee? So we must evaluate ourselves first. Have we done what we were asked to do accordingly? We are not evaluating ourselves, and we are just getting all these things from other people, and we are blaming everyone else apart from ourselves. I hope it answers your question. Ji, Naila Khan.
When we work at any of the organizations, so obviously we want to be acknowledged as well. If we are doing everything right, we want to be acknowledged. And if we witness that we are not being acknowledged, and because of that, our confidence is being taken up or something. So what to do at that time?
Thank you very much. Excellent question. We all like appreciation, don't we? We all like to have a pat on our back. And that's your right. You must be acknowledged. You must be given appreciation. The people who don't do this, look at their organization. Do they have a perfect atmosphere? No. Do they have a perfect attitude? No. Are they making profit? Maybe. But they would have made more profit. So we all need that appreciation. Unfortunately, our bosses, they don't want to give this thing to us. Why don't they do that? They are scared of you. They don't want to tell you how good are you. If they find out, what makes them scared is, oh boy, if I tell them he's doing a very good thing, he will ask for a raise. And I don't want to give him a raise. That's the only thing which stops people giving appreciation or recognizing them. Because once you are recognized, it's a natural thing. If I'm doing a good job, then it should be reflected in my wages, in my time, and in my authority. It should be reflected. But our bosses don't want that. So that's what happens, that we don't get appreciation. I want more money. You want more money. Everyone wants more money. But if I get more money, then my productivity will also go high. But money is not an incentive to motivate you. It's the atmosphere. It's the attitude that should be motivating you rather than money. I hope it answers your question. G.
How can we sincere with our profession?
I'm sorry, how can we what?
So my question is that how can we sincere with our profession?
How can we be sincere with our profession?
Excuse me. I just want to add one thing. It will be the last question because we have another engagement of this foundation at 8:30 p.m. That's why we would like to end up this session after this question.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How can we be sincere with our? Are you sincere with yourself? Basic question is this: are we sincere ourselves? If I'm sincere with myself, then I will be sincere with everything which is associated with me, my family, my job, my siblings, my children, everything which is associated with me, I will be sincere with that. If I'm not sincere with my job, then I have to reflect on myself. Am I sincere with myself? Obviously, if I'm not sincere with myself, I'm not sincere with anybody else. So that's the question. Reflect upon yourself. Are you sincere with yourself? If you are sincere, then you are sincere with your job. So thank you very much. I hope it answered your question. I hope you guys learned new things today. So
yes, I have a question.
But I'm afraid that the last question we already.
Actually, we are sorry. Actually, we are out of time because we have another engagement. Already we exceeded 25 minutes for this session to answer your questions, and we would like to invite sir in another session and invite you there. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and valuable lecture. It was really amazing and informative session. I hope all the audience will be satisfied from this session, and for all the participants who joined session will be granted with a certificate of participation from the Foundation. I'm again thankful to you, sir, Asjad Sheikh, for your time. Thanks to all those who joined the session. I wish you all best of luck, and that's all for today. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Please take care of yourself and your loved one. Bye-bye for